Alright, let's review part 1, the introduction, and part 2, the supremacy clause. Okay, here we go. Why is the Constitution important? Remember, we talked about this question last review. Here it is. Remember the magic answer, word for word. The Constitution makes the rules that protect we, the people, from the government or any other person taking our freedom from us. Okay? Let's get that ingrained in our hearts. Why the Constitution is so important. Why we study this in the first place. Next question. What branches of government do Articles 1, 2, and 3 of the Constitution address? Okay, kind of combining the question here. 1 is legislative. Good. 2 is executive. 3 is, remember the smiles? Going to the judge. Judicial. Okay, good. Okay, quickly now, name the 5 clauses everyone should know. Remember our acronym? STING. So S is supremacy. T is treaty law. I is interstate commerce clause. N is necessary and proper clause. And G is general welfare clause. Very good. Okay. Hopefully those are just boom, boom, boom. They rattle right off. Okay, very, very quick. Name the constitutional reference for the following 2 clauses. Supremacy clause is supreme. Regal supreme. Article 6 clause 2. Good. And the treaty law should be right in your head. It's Article 6 clause 2 as well, right? You got a tree and a T, 6'2". Excellent. Now moving into the supremacy, review for the supremacy. Supreme or supremacy, fill in the blank level of power or authority. Remember the answer there? Supremacy, supreme means the highest level of power or authority. Excellent. Next question is defining to pursue. What's it mean to pursue? To follow. Well done. Okay. Next thing is fill in the blank. This Constitution and laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, right? That's the condition, remember? Okay? And the next question says, essentially, what does that mean? Explain the significance of the highlighted portion of the supremacy clause, this yellow part, which shall be made in pursuance thereof. Tell me the significance of that. What does that mean? I'm listening. Go for it. Good. Keep going. I don't know where you're at. Yeah. Okay. Now, once again, this is the exact word-for-word answer you need to have. Okay, here it is. Just because a law is a federal law, that does not mean it is supreme and wins out in a conflict between federal and state law. What wins out is the Constitution. So if a federal law is made that violates the Constitution instead of follows it, then that law is not the supreme law of our land. The Supremacy Clause puts the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, not federal law as the supreme law of the land. Did you get that? Okay, more or less, right? The idea. We want to capture those ideas. It's really, really important to know that. Lastly, we're going to go through the memorization of the Supremacy Clause. Are you ready? Okay. Go. This Constitution and the laws of the United States that shall be made in pursuance thereof shall be the supreme law of the land. Excellent. Okay guys, remind me, where is the general welfare clause found? Remember, the general served in the 181st. There you go. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1. Good. That's where we're at. That's what we're going to talk about in this segment, okay? Let's go with our analogy. Remember our analogy? The players, we got the car owner who represents the people in the states, and we have the mechanic shop who represents the federal government. Okay? We're going to use the same analogy. Here's our contract. You ask them to change out 4 of your spark plugs, to flush your transmission, and replace a timing belt. And just to be clear, in the contract we say this, okay? I authorize the mechanic shop to make repairs and service my car and to charge me for those repairs. Pretty simple. Ready to go. Sign the contract, I keep a copy, they keep a copy, I walk out the door. What do you know, as I'm walking out the door, they're already putting my car up on the hoist. I'm like, oh good, this is good service here, we're going to get this thing done quick. Come back 2 days later, like it tells me in the contract, to get my car. I'm walking in the door, I see this sweet Ferrari, this is red car being lowered on the hoist. Like, man, that's a nice car. Walk in there and talk to the mechanic, and he tells me, hey, good timing, we're just lowering your car down. And you say, well, what are you talking about, what car? The red one right there, doesn't it look sweet? Yeah, it's sweet, but it's not my car. Oh, no. Sir, we took the opportunity to make this car decked out. We changed the tires. We put a new body on it, painted it. Don't you love it? I may or may not love it, but it's not my car. I didn't authorize you to do that. Oh, don't worry, sir. All that matters is that you like it. And you answer, no, actually, all that does matter is what I authorized you to do. And I only authorized you to do 3 things, right? Those 3 things were change out the spark plugs, flush the transmission, and replace the timing belt. To which he responds, don't worry, because you like it, we'll just stick it on your credit card. Relax, it's going to be great. At that moment, both you and the mechanic go, oh yeah, let's look at the contract. So they pull out the contract and read it. Okay, here's what it says. Remember, I authorize the mechanic shop to make repairs and service my car and to charge me for those costs. Mechanic smiles and said, look, you already authorized this to happen. You say, no, let's be pretty clear here. All I authorized you to do was the things that were listed, right? So this arrow pointing, those are the things that are listed there. That's the only I authorized you to do and that I'd pay for. I mean, I don't have to list all the things you can't do, like repaint my car, change out my engine, replace tires and wheels. No, I don't have to list those things you can't do. I'm just simply in the contract listing the things you can do. Okay, so that's the essence of the general welfare clause. That's what it means. So we're going to take this little yellow part that's highlighted, and we're going to see how it compares here, okay? Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 says, the Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare. So remember the players in this analogy. The Congress is equal to the mechanic shop, and to have power to provide for the, let's say, the repairs and to service my car. Okay, it's kind of the same idea. The mechanic shop has power to provide for the repairs and to service my car. That's essentially what the authorization said, right? And that's kind of what our general welfare clause is saying. So we're going to stick that general welfare clause up in the contract. We're going to look at that contract again. And here's where we stick it. Okay? The mechanic shop shall have power to provide for the repairs and to service my car. Obviously, it's talking about those things that are listed in the contract. And it's true. It does say do repairs and service my car, but he can't do any repair or service the car in any way he wants to. It's only in relation to those things that are listed. It's just like the general welfare clause. The only things that Congress can do in the name of general welfare are those things that are listed for them to do. They don't get to decide, just like the mechanic shop doesn't get to decide what's general welfare. Okay? But general welfare is what's listed in the contract itself, in the Constitution. So where are those things listed? The list of all the things they can do come after Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1. So it's general welfare, and then it lists those things, those specific things to do. Okay? So let's look at it. Article 1, Section 8, Clauses 2 through 9 and 17, those are the general welfare powers, like number 3, right? To regulate interstate commerce. Or number 5, to coin money. Those are general welfare powers that are given to Congress. Now, the common defense are located in Article 1, Section 8, Clauses 10 through 16, the other remaining clauses in Article 1, Section 8. Look at these, for example. To declare war, number 11. Does that sound like a common defense power? You bet. To provide and maintain a navy, we just talked about that one in the last time. Those are common defense powers that have been granted to Congress. Pull out your Constitution, your copies of the Constitution, all right? Remember, Article 1, Section 8, it's page 6, okay? Go there, pull that out. Get ready, get your highlighters, get your pens ready. We're going to talk about it, okay? There? Excellent. Okay, remember, the Article 1, Section 8 has 18 clauses in it. Remember we wrote those down? Now we're going to go to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1, and we're going to look at that, where it says, the Congress shall have power to, okay, we'll skip a few lines there, and it says, provide for the common defense and general welfare. Underline that, would you? Here's the visual of that, so you can see what parts you're supposed to underline. The Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare, okay? That's the general welfare clause. That's what's known as the general welfare clause, because it says general welfare in there. Now we're going to take those words and we're going to stick them on a screen again on this slide so we can read them a little bit better. Notice here's number 1. It talks about the general welfare. Those general welfare powers are clauses 2 through 9 and 17. Okay? And the common defense powers, like we talked about earlier, are clauses 10 through 16. Those are the ones that refer to the common defense powers. So what I want you to do, take out your highlighters. Take out a yellow highlighter and highlight clauses 2 through 9 and 17, and make sure to highlight the word general welfare. Maybe draw an arrow to those portions, okay? Let me give you a second to do that. Okay, so remind what you're doing. You're taking general welfare and highlighting that word, and you're highlighting 2 through 9, and highlighting number 17. Those are the general welfare powers. Okay? Excellent. Let's move on to the second one, the common defense. Let's highlight that in blue, let's say. Common defense says provide for the common defense, and those clauses are clauses 10 through 16. Highlight those and draw an arrow to those. Okay? So now your Constitution is going to look like this. It's going to have a bunch of colors on it. I'll give you a second. Got it all done? Okay, if you need to push pause, go for it. We're going to move on. Okay, so here's what it looks like. The general welfare clause, general welfare powers are the yellow ones, and the common defense powers are the blue ones. Okay, kind of have the first introduction in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1. It introduces those powers, and then it lists them right there. We've opened our constitutions, we've drawn on them, now we're going to have an activity, okay? This is called a clause chase. So what we're going to do is everyone is going to be armed with a yellow piece of paper that says general welfare and a blue piece of paper that says common defense. Then you have a bunch of numbers, okay? 1 through 9, a bunch of numbers you can match up and make sense of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a certain clause, a few first words to it, and you're going to take the correct card, which is the correct color and name, whether it's a general welfare or common defense, and the correct number and hold that up, okay? Alright, so here we are. We got your colored constitution. Looks like this, okay? It's pretty simple. Here are the general welfare powers, here are the common defense powers. The problem is nowadays, it's not very popular just to have these limited ideas. So these are all the things we can do. Nowadays, the interpretation is, well, you know, we not just coin money, we should be able to print money. Let's print it too. Or, you know, the United States really should be the policeman of the world. The president can declare war. Or better yet, the United Nations can declare war. Let's just go to war when they tell us to go to war. Other popular ideas is, well, government or the Congress should control the commerce of the states. Control the commerce, not just regulate it, control it. Or, all kinds, right? We should be able to have standing armies for as long as we like. Let's cross that out. Let's cross this and we're in charge of all land whatsoever, etc., etc. Or, you know what? It's only fair that those who have money have to give it to others. So we're going to force those who have it to give it to other people. That's what Congress should do. Or no, I've got an idea. Everyone should have insurance. That's a good thing, isn't it? Let's force them to buy insurance. Let's do that. Or let's force people to pay into a government-run retirement program. Okay, there's all kinds of different ideas. And so what happens is the Constitution ends up looking like this, with a bunch of cross-outs and extra words and all these different things, to the tune of the idea that about 80% of what Congress does nowadays has nothing to do with the Constitution. It's not authorized. You can't find it. They say, well, it's general welfare. It's good for people in general, so we can do it. That's not what the general welfare clause says. It doesn't say, oh, it's good for people, we should do that. Okay, so there's two different interpretations of the general welfare clause. The first one is, government should decide for the people what's good for them. And their constitution looks like this, okay? With a bunch of side notes and extra paragraphs and cross that out and draw an arrow here, okay? The other side of the equation, the general welfare, means the people decide for themselves what is right. The people decide for themselves what is right, okay? And their constitution looks like the one we look at. It's just plain and simple. It's written there in plain English, okay? It's not, oh, I think this and, you know, put a star here and an arrow here, etc., etc. Now, which one do we believe in? Which one does America stand by? America stands by the Constitution, not the revised, interpreted form of the Constitution. Notice the difference here. On the left-hand side, the government decides for the people what's good for them. On the other side, the people decide for themselves what is right. Do you see the difference? One puts government in charge of the people. The other one puts people in charge of the government. That's America. When the people are in charge, the source of power is the people. We're the ones who've been endowed with unalienable rights. Now we get to decide how to self-govern. So I want to point out two of the key words, okay? These are the key words. This word good versus the word right. Just because something is good doesn't mean it's right for government to do it. Is it good that poor people have houses to live in? You bet, it's really good. Is it right that government forces that to happen by taking from some and giving to others? No, that's wrong. Because doing that is stealing, and stealing is stealing regardless of who's doing it, government or a person. Okay? So what's right versus what's good? Too often, there's way too many times where I say, well, it's good, this is good. There's no question that it's good. The question is it right? Is the government deciding it's good for the people, or are the people deciding what's right for themselves? Is it right to steal? No. It's not right for anyone to steal. Okay? So the bottom line is, which constitution do we follow? The one that has a bunch of annotations and scribbles in it, or the one that's just plain and simple what it says? That's a question that needs to be answered, isn't it? Daniel Webster, he was one of the great early leaders in America. He said this: the Constitution was made to guard the people against the dangers of good intentions. What does that mean? It means there's all kinds of good intentions. But just because something is well-intentioned doesn't mean it's right for the government to do. And the Constitution guards us against the tendency to do all kinds of tons of things in the name of good intentions. It's not good that's the standard. The standard isn't something that's good. The standard is that something be right and authorized by the people. And the way to find out if it's authorized by the people is It's written in the Constitution. You're right. All right, I'm going to throw another quote at you. This is one of my favorite founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson. He said this: "Congress has not unlimited powers to provide for the general welfare, but only those specifically enumerated." He's saying right there, Congress doesn't have power to do whatever they want to in the name of general welfare. Only those things that are specifically enumerated. What in the world does enumerated mean? Let's look at that. Enumerated means to write down or to list. Okay? Only those things that are specifically written down. Okay, so you throw that in the quote, makes a little more sense. Congress has not unlimited powers to provide for the general welfare, but only those specifically written down. In other words, here's the mantra. Here's the idea of the general welfare clause. If it's not listed, you can't do it. That makes sense? Is that a simple way of just summarizing everything we've talked about in this first 15 minutes or so? Yeah, if it's not listed, you can't do it, right? On the contract you're bringing your car, if it's not listed to do it, you can't do it. I didn't say you couldn't change my car into a Ferrari, but it's not listed that you can, so you can't, okay? Jefferson makes another quote that I just couldn't help putting in here, okay? It says, "To take a single step beyond the boundaries drawn around the powers of Congress is to take possession of a boundless field of power." Okay, so here we have a visual, right? Here's Article 1, Section 8. Here are the powers of Congress in this little blue bubble we have. Now, anything within that, they can do in the name of general welfare, right? It's listed, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 2, or Clause 7, or Clause 17. They can do those things. But when they take a single step outside of the Article 1, Section 8, and the powers of Congress burst that bubble, it's a boundless field. It can go forever and ever. You get the cows out, right? They get outside the fence, they're gone. They're out. They're doing whatever they want to do at that point. Okay, that's the point he's making. Now let's contrast, right? Make the comparison here between what Jefferson's saying and what this man, his name is Francis Biddle. He's the Attorney General. He was the supreme, the highest attorney in the land back in the 40s, somewhere in there. He said this: "The government of the United States can do anything not specifically prohibited by the Constitution." At first you think, well, no. Actually, he's saying the exact opposite, isn't he? Jefferson said if it's not listed, you can't do it. Biddle is saying, as long as it doesn't specifically say we can't, then we can. Is that different? Yeah, that's the mechanics version, right? If I can do whatever I want to do, I can. It doesn't say I can't turn your car into a Ferrari, so I'm going to. That's not what the Constitution says. Okay, so here's our plain, simple Constitution, and in it, people who want an expansion of government write these things. It doesn't say in here that we can't police the world, so I guess we can. It doesn't say in here that we can't tell bosses how much to pay their workers, so I guess we can. It doesn't say in here that we can't tell people what food they can eat, so I guess we can. It doesn't say in here that we can't tell teachers what to teach, so I guess we can. Is that America? No, that's not America. That's not what the Constitution is. The Constitution lists those things we can do, and if they aren't listed, you can't do them. So here's a fun little analogy to kind of explain this, okay? Johnny goes up to his mom and says, "Mom, can I play outside?" She says, "Yeah, just stay in our yard, okay?" "Okay, Mom." So he's playing, and Johnny's like, "It's kind of boring. I always play in the yard. I want to go across the street to the park and swing." The swing set looks too tempting, so he does it, right? Mom walks out of the porch and says, "Johnny, what are you doing? I thought I told you to stay in the yard." Johnny says, "Well, you didn't specifically say I couldn't go and swing in the park." That's absurd, isn't it? She's already said, here's the things you can do. She doesn't have to list all the things you can't. Hey, Johnny, you need to stay in the yard, and you can't go to the park, and you can't go in the street and play, and you can't go to your friend Susie's, and you can't. No. She listed the things you can do. She doesn't have to list all the things you can't do. See how that works? That's what the general welfare clause means. That reminds me of a game. Okay, we have to have an activity here, right? There's another part of the Constitution that's very, very important. It teaches this idea very clearly. It's called the 10th Amendment. Here's what the 10th Amendment says. Okay, we're going to read the first part. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. Now, there's a big word there. What's delegated mean? Delegated means to give, to authorize. Okay, so the power is not given to the United States by the Constitution. Next part, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. What's the word reserved mean? Reserved means are kept for, okay? So they're kept for the states respectively or to the people. Now, if you read that with the definitions put in there, it says this: the power is not given to the United States by the Constitution, are kept for the states respectively or the people. The power is not given to the federal government, to the Congress. Who's it reserved for? Who's it kept back for? For the states and for the people. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's a concept that we're not living right now, and therefore having some challenges with our freedom. Okay, so that's part 3, the general welfare clause, all right? So now what we're going to do, like we did at the end of the supremacy clause, we're going to memorize the general welfare clause, okay? What do you have to do? Yep, read with me. Follow along, okay? And read out loud. Here we go. The Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare. Next. The Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare. Good. Good. Okay, the next. Take a few more off. The Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare. Take off a few more here. The Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare. Second to last one. The Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare. And last, all blanks, ready? The Congress shall have power to provide for the common defense and general welfare. All right, that's one more clause you've memorized now. So we're at the end. You're ready to take the quiz. Go to intheconstitution.org/resources and take the quiz for general welfare.